a name. Nothing. No. There's something. Well, what is that something? Well, a name is just a name. A label. A label to keep you stable and make people able to see who you are. So what happens when you're named wrong? Pretty little girl. Wrong name. What is your name? You ain't got one? Well, let's help you find out.
Let me stop the footage right here for a moment, because looking back, those tap shoes, the rhythm, before the escape, there was a name I never felt at home inside. And some of you know what that feels like when the name they gave you just doesn't match the soul you came in with. When the labels in your family don't fit the truth of who you are. For me, that name held the weight of two people who could never see me clearly. My mother on one side, my father on the other, and somewhere between them, I disappeared. At 8, 9 years old, I lost my place in the tribe. Not because I did anything wrong, but because the adults around me were carrying wounds they never healed. So I left. New York City became the place that I wandered around with a damaged brain, a fractured identity, and a soul that refused to die. And then Jimmy Slyde, a prophet in tap shoes, a man who didn't ask me who I was supposed to be. He saw who I already was. This is where I want to ask you something. Who named you? And who are you now beyond the name? Did you ever lose your place in your family system, your family story? And where do you begin writing your own? Because identity isn't inherited. It's reclaimed.
Pretty little girl, a part of a child running wild, just trying to find her path. Like a modern-day Dorothy. Dorothy? Is that your name? No. But it's closer. Well, Dorothy, put on your ruby heels. You ain't got any? Yeah, you do. Instead of shoes of ruby, shoes of
If I was Dorothy, I wasn't the Dorothy they wrote about. I was the modern one. The girl who woke up in a storm she didn't create, trying to remember the way home with a brain of trauma and parents who were too wounded to guide me. Oh, identity gets slippery when the people who name you are still bleeding from their own stories. Two traumatized parents, one small child, and suddenly the mirror doesn't reflect anything familiar. Children come into this life remembering things we pretend they shouldn't know. Past lives, old languages, ancient truths. But in some cultures, we laugh at that. We shame it. We call it, oh, it's an imagination. And the child learns to doubt the wisdom their soul carried in. So we grow confused about gender, about color, about culture, about where we belong, because the physical body is only the thinnest slice. It's like the thinnest slice of the story here. But then you have the shoes. Always the shoes. I mentioned the shoes. Shoes of ruby, the Leo fire in me, the path of the heart, the leader who came here to ignite a new consciousness. Shoes of leather. Well, the question of my twin. The one who walks beside me in another timeline, another age, another skin. Does he wear leather? This is the first time I have leather on. Does he remember me? Shoes of heels. Oh, ho, ho. The ones I danced in. The ones that shaped my spine, my breath, my womanhood. The ones I exposed in my one-woman show in New York City, revealing how beauty can become a cage when the world expects women to rise on stilts instead of on truth. And then the shoes of metal. Well, I think of the tap dancing shoes. The metal, it's ancient, it's memory, it's wisdom, it's connected to Mother Earth and the code languages. Every shoe I wore was a different version of me, a different lifetime, a different identity, a different way of surviving the storm. And like Dorothy, I kept clicking my heels, hoping the sound would remind me of who I was before the world tried to tell me otherwise.
Click your heels to find your name. Click your heels to hide the pain. Click your heels for ones you love. Click your heels and make some deals so that it feels like something that heals you from above. Now we're starting to turn you in the right direction. Now let's get you over that rainbow. Turn away from your hardships. Turn away from being misunderstood. Turn to find your path. Turn to find your name. Turn to fly. Turn to get high. And connect with the one true person who knows you. Wow, I think we've made some progress. You've got a story to tell, Dorothy. So let's put you on a stage. Why are you moving like that? You aren't supposed to move like that. Are you a pretty little girl? Or a big black man? You're not telling the story I thought you'd tell, Dorothy. Come on, Dorothy. Your mind is drifting. Drifting from the stage. Reel it in. Reel it in and feel it inside. You can't. What's wrong? You're losing the stage. You're losing your soul.
Click your heels, not to go home, but to remember your name. That was what I was doing in New York City. Clicking my heels through the pain, through the brain fog, through the sugar I used to numb the ache and the pain of childhood that cracked my identity in half. Click your heels. To hide your wounds? To keep moving so no one sees the girl who forgot where she belonged? And then the prophet, Jimmy Slyde, the man who didn't just see my dance, he saw my soul. He watched me spin, 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 watching me bargain with my higher self, watching me try to outrun the shadow masculine that had chased me since my childhood. And while I was trying to escape, love found me in the most unexpected place. My father, the man I thought would never understand me, placing Kundalini yoga and meditation in my hands like a key I didn't know I needed. Turn away from hardship, they say, but I turned inward instead, meditating through misunderstandings, breathing through generational trauma, shaking and turning and breathing and writing and crying and shaking and burning and releasing. And somewhere in the silence, that uncomfortable silence, I found my name. That name became a book, Transcending Victim to Goddess, Part 1, Heather Ann Ferri. The moment I stopped running and started remembering. And when I remembered, I began to fly. Earth angels coming in, whispering in my meditation, in my breath, in my home, having moments of bliss, having moments of severe anguish, having moments of bliss, having moments of severe anguish, having moments of bliss. Layer after layer after layer, reviewing. And then I saw this moment with Jimmy Slyde as I reviewed this tap footage and him asking me, are you a pretty girl or a black man? He wasn't questioning my identity. He was naming the prophecy, the duality, the lifetimes, the soul codes I carried long before this body. I didn't know it then, but at that moment, he was planting a seed, a future chapter, a future book, a future confirmation that all this inner work in the last I don't know, 18 years I was doing was for my higher self. But I couldn't stay in New York any longer. The mask grew heavy, playing other people on stage while losing myself off stage. So I was at this crossroads, drawn to Africa and the mystery, or Pittsburgh, the land of the unfinished story. My soul was lost, so I chose the harder road. I went back to Pittsburgh to face the family, the silence, the shadows, the pain, the years of sickness, to come into my higher conscious self and truth. Click your heels, they say, but sometimes the only way home is to walk straight into the fire and let it burn away everything that isn't you.
Pretty little girl. Lost. Pretty little girl. Found. That's it. Clear your mind. Free your mind. Find your mind.
Before this ends, I want to go through some numbers with you. I was actually 35 years old when I filmed this tap footage. Yes. And it is a miracle through all the years of losing technology and moving that I still had this on my disc. I'm 53 years old right now. When I look at the original tap footage, it's 9 minutes, 55 seconds. Numbers speak. Numbers coordinate. Numbers design timing, soul maps for our destiny. But I'll go back to what we've just reviewed. I was still a lost girl, the one wandering through New York with a cracked identity and a heart that refused to die. And then someone placed a scarf in my hands, a simple piece of fabric, but my soul recognized it instantly. This was not a costume. This was a crown. The same crown worn by ancient medicine women. The ones who mastered science and art and music and healing. the land, the water, the long her story that we were calling to remember. For 18 years, that crown has been healing me. 18 years of unraveling the lineage of women who were forgotten, silenced, and erased. So when I place this scarf on my head, I'm not just crowning myself. I'm acknowledging all those women as well. When I chant Ramadasa, Sa Se So Hung, a chant that reminds us that when we heal enough of our trauma, the sun, the moon, the earth, we all stop being separate things. They all become one breath, one mother, one memory. Because the mother was always sacred. Long before the world forgot, long before the masculine shadow rewrote the story. If you go far back to the original blueprint of this planet when it was born, you will find a truth most people are not ready for. Women were here first. Women held the codes. Women carried the stories. Women nurtured the land and the water. They know. And every time I dance, I chant, I sing, I teach, I speak, I meditate, I place this crown on my head, I'm remembering them. I'm remembering me. And maybe, just maybe, I'm helping you remember yourself today too. This is the end of the video, but not the end of my story. This is where the new beginning starts.